Hey, what's up, guys and gals? My name is Rick 9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the television show Bewitched. If you're a fan of Bewitched or other classic TV shows and movies, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's a free way to support my channel, and it truly helps out so much. We're getting closer to 170,000 subscribers, and that's all due to you and your support. So let's start with this episode. You're going to be really surprised when you find out that this bombshell superstar of an actress was on Bewitched in this episode and you didn't even know about it. We'll talk about which episode right now. This is season 1, episode 9. It's called Witch or Wife. It's a pretty good episode, pretty funny. There's a lot of things happening at once. And the star scene is when, of course, you have Darren on the plane and then you have Samantha getting on board, and then he kind of sees Samantha outside the window kind of flying with the plane. It's pretty hilarious. Now, we begin the story here with Larry, who's off on an extended business trip. Now, Louise is going to accompany him, and in the meantime, Darren is stuck at the office covering off Larry's work in addition to doing his own work. Now, Samantha, his wife, is pretty much lonely while Darren is working all of these crazy longer hours and accepts Endora's offer for some company by going to lunch. But where do they go to? No ordinary place. Yeah, they go across the world to Europe in Paris. Now, what Samantha is not aware of is that Larry's business trip is to Paris as well, where she and Endora run into the Tates. Now, although Samantha did not tell Darren of this Paris trip with Endora, Larry gets word back to Darren that he and Louise ran into Samantha and Endora. Of course, I guess that's impossible, right, with the distance. But this trip eventually opens up a discussion between Samantha and Darren about Samantha's use of her powers, and perhaps Darren is stifling who Samantha really is, because he's trying to make her live as a simple, normal human without any powers or anything like that. Again, it's a funny episode, but the moment that I really want to focus on is when Darren is on the plane. He sees his wife outside kind of flying along, which is pretty hilarious. But finally, his wife gets on the plane, Samantha, and she gets to essentially sit down with her husband. But before that, we see a stewardess or a flight attendant, and we see the stewardess a few times. Now, what's crazy is you do get to see her from the back, you get to see her from the side, but you don't really get to see her straight on. If you would get to see her straight on, everyone would absolutely know who this woman was, but since she's filmed from the side, and kind of in this mysterious way, most people who watch the show have absolutely no idea who this is. Surprisingly, yes, this is Raquel Welch. Yeah, the superstar worldwide actress Raquel Welch, and it's pretty impressive to know that she's here. It's really hard to tell that it's her, but no, it is really her. There's not a lot of shots of her in the episode. You get to see a lot of her back, her head, the back of her head, her legs. You know, she's in that tight-fitting flight attendant outfit or stewardess outfit. That's what they used to call them back then. And you get to see a little bit of her side profile, almost like a 3/4 view. And it's really interesting because it seems like for some reason they didn't want to show her. They didn't want people to know this was Raquel Welch. Now, why may this be that they don't show her completely? Again, I'd like to hear your comments down below, but these are my thoughts knowing classic TV shows and movies, and essentially just knowing these shows so well. Remember, this episode aired November 1964. By this time, Raquel Welch was acting, but she wasn't a huge superstar by this time. I mean, people could debate that. But she was in small things like something like this. She had this little role, and I guess people thought, well, it's not really essential to show her. It wasn't like she was a powerhouse at this time, but she started to become famous during this time as well. So it was kind of a transition for her. So it would have been surprising to see her. Most people would have thought, oh, this is Raquel Welch, if they would have seen her, but not during the time. You only know in retrospect. It's like whenever you watch Hogan's Heroes, I noted that you do see Harvey Keitel as a German soldier, essentially. And before that, people didn't really know who he was, but afterward, he would become a big star, and that was pretty much his first role. And here, this was an early role for Raquel Welch, and some people can probably try to study and see if that's really her, but yeah, I mean, you can tell that's her body shape, that's the side of her face. I mean, it all points toward that being her. So I'd love to know your thoughts down below. First of all, have you seen this episode? Secondly, did you know this was Raquel Welch? And does this really surprise you? Because it's kind of a nice little secret cameo, and I love being able to point these things out to you, having people watch. I think it makes the show and the episodes a lot more exciting. So thanks so much for the support as always. Don't forget to always stay positive and always better yourself, and most importantly, be hopeful. A big thanks to all my Patreon supporters, especially Vito L, Sally N, Russ C, Kev, Daniel B, Citizen Kane 359, and David D. If you want to be on this list, make sure to check out the Patreon link below. Thanks so much.